I said, I don't give a shit about the numbers. I don't care. I'll talk about them. But the only reason I'll even talk about his numbers is because he's passing the main test for me. And that's the eye test. The Browns suck. The Browns suck. They're 3-9. We're probably going to be getting a new head coach next year. We need all new receivers. We need all new offensive line. The only test that matters from here on out the rest of the season is the eye test. Does Shedeur Sanders look like an NFL quarterback? Does he look like he can play in this league? Because I'm telling you, if you're just going to look at numbers, his completion percentage isn't up with this guy or that guy. We don't have receivers. We drop passes all the time. We don't have good blocking. We don't have good coaching. We don't have good schemes. We don't have anything.
You can just feel the energy crackling at the Cleveland training ground. The whole place is buzzing again, and the entire team is out on that field, pushing themselves past their limits as they gear up for the next huge game. But let's be honest, all eyes are on one position in particular, the quarterback. Shedeur Sanders is officially back with the first team after a tough defeat last week, and you can tell he's working more diligently than ever before. From the very first moment the camera focuses on him, it's absolutely impossible to ignore his presence. He's not just there, he's commanding the field, exuding an air of pure, unadulterated self-assurance that you can't fake. And his throws, they're nothing short of perfect. We're talking accurate, crisp, and landing right on the money every single time. For him, this isn't just another practice session. This is a statement. It's his chance to prove to everyone and maybe even to himself that he is the right man for the job. And here's what's so impressive. Shedeur is able to maintain his composure despite the absolutely intense competition swirling around him out there. Think about it. While other players might buckle under this kind of pressure, he's making it abundantly clear that he belongs right in the middle of that QB1 conversation. It all starts with the fundamentals, the group warm-ups designed to get the blood flowing and the muscles loose, the kind of routine stuff every team does. But things really begin to heat up and get way more intense the second he moves into individual drills. When Shedeur stepped into those one-on-one matchups with the receivers, it was immediately obvious that he wasn't just going through the motions, he was on a mission to perfect his craft. With every single throw, the ball placement was simply impeccable. It didn't matter if the receiver was running a short route right in front of him or streaking deep downfield. His accuracy was absolutely flawless in every situation. There was no overthinking, no hesitation in his mechanics. His throws were just smooth, precise, and confident. He wasn't just relying on raw power either. With each drop back, it was his timing, his touch, and his deep understanding of the play that stood out as incredibly impressive. It was during the first team reps, however, that Shedeur Sanders really began to separate himself from the rest of the pack. If there were any lingering doubts about his potential, this part of practice completely obliterated them. Every single pass he threw was deliberate and had a purpose. He wasn't just chucking the ball downfield hoping for the best. No, he was actively analyzing the defense in real time, making split-second judgments, and then delivering the football with pinpoint surgical accuracy. But the moment that truly left everyone's jaws on the floor was when Shedeur unleashed an absolute masterpiece of a throw. The pocket was closing in fast, pressure was coming, but he quickly sidestepped the rush with a slick move, instantly reset his feet, and then fired a deep strike down the sideline. It was a perfect spiral that landed flawlessly in his receiver's hands. In perfect stride. We're talking about the timing, the touch, the precision. It was the textbook definition of a highlight reel throw from an elite quarterback. And he didn't stop there. He immediately kept that momentum going, stringing together a series of absolutely flawless throws. You could just see it. Shedeur was completely in the zone, delivering passes that looked almost effortless. Every single ball was smooth, accurate, and practically uncatchable for the defense, landing softly and perfectly right into the grasp of his receivers. With each pass, it felt like the ball was on a mission, like it had a GPS locked onto its target. It became crystal clear that no defense was going to stop these throws on this day. The very next play that Shedeur took was a brilliant display of misdirection and football IQ. Once again, the pocket was beginning to collapse around him. He stayed calm, maintained his composure, and took a step back, almost making it look like the defense had him trapped and dead to rights. But this is where things get really fascinating. In a move that was so subtle it was almost invisible, Shedeur made a slight hand movement, faking a throw in one direction. It was just enough to throw off the defenders, to freeze them for that crucial extra fraction of a second he needed to create an opportunity out of nothing. The next throw was somehow even more impressive than the one that came before it. This time, Shedeur found himself in an incredibly difficult spot, completely surrounded by defenders who were all scrambling for position as the pocket narrowed in on him. Let's be real, the vast majority of quarterbacks in that situation would have tried to force a throw or just brace themselves for a big hit. But not Shedeur. He remained totally unfazed by the chaos. He didn't panic. He didn't scramble wildly. Instead, his attention was drawn to something on the field that everyone else had missed. Because the defense was so preoccupied with the pressure and the chaos right in front of him, they completely lost track of his receiver. Shedeur took a quick scan of the field and immediately spotted his guy perfectly positioned on the far left side, just waiting to break free into open space. But make no mistake, Shedeur Sanders wasn't just relying on his incredible arm talent. He also put his exceptional footwork and his uncanny ability to remain calm under pressure on full display. During the subsequent repetition, he found himself in another precarious situation, with the pocket once again collapsing and defenders bearing down on him. There was practically no room to make a clean throw, but instead of forcing a dangerous pass or taking a sack, Shedeur did something that most quarterbacks really struggle with in these high-pressure moments. He expertly bought himself more time without ever losing his focus on his downfield targets. Even with pressure coming from what felt like every single direction, Shedeur maintained his composure like a seasoned veteran. He quickly evaluated the entire situation, and without a shred of hesitation, he subtly shifted his position to the left. Now, this wasn't some desperate scramble to get away from the rush. This move was calculated, it was deliberate, and it was designed with one purpose in mind: to get a better view of the entire field. By shifting laterally, he was able to clear the clutter of bodies that was obstructing his view, creating a clean line of sight beyond the chaos and opening up new passing lanes. And the masterclass continued as Shedeur Sanders kept on demonstrating his versatility in a multitude of ways. He took his game to a whole new level by employing some truly devious moves that highlighted just how well-rounded his skill set is. During one particular rep, the play took such an unexpected turn that it left everyone on the field, including the coaches on the sideline, in a complete state of shock. After receiving the snap, Shedeur didn't throw the ball, which is what everyone was expecting. Instead, he executed a move that absolutely no one could have anticipated. Without a single second of hesitation, he handed the ball off to a defensive tackle who was lined up right next to him. Yes, you heard that correctly. A defensive tackle. And let me be clear, this was no mistake, it was all part of the play design. With the ball now securely in his possession, the massive tackle took off downfield, weaving his way through the crowd of players and using his incredible momentum to make a powerful dash toward the end zone. It wasn't the end of the story, though, because the moment from the final rep of the day is something that everyone who was there is going to remember for a very, very long time. The pressure on Shedeur Sanders was immense. He was completely surrounded by the defense, which was closing in fast from all sides, and it looked like there was absolutely no way for him to escape. The pocket was disintegrating rapidly, defenders were flying in from every angle, and you could feel the tension building with every fraction of a second. This was one of those high-stakes, crunch-time moments, and it was in this exact situation that Shedeur truly proved his worth. Despite the intense pressure all around him, he maintained his composure, calmly scanned the field, and spotted his receiver. But he also noticed a significant risk, the very real possibility of an interception. The window to make the throw was incredibly narrow, and any tiny mistake could have resulted in a costly turnover. When you look back on it, Shedeur Sanders had an absolutely outstanding day during first-team practice. He didn't just participate, he dominated. He completely solidified his position as the starting quarterback and showed everyone exactly why he is the leader this team desperately needs. From the moment he stepped onto that field, his presence was undeniable. The pinpoint accuracy of his throws, the sharpness of his decision-making, and his flawless ability to read and dissect the defense were all on another level. In each and every rep, he demonstrated a deep expertise and a complete command over the game, proving that he is more than prepared to take on any challenge that comes his way. His poise under pressure was on full display as he effortlessly navigated tight situations and made incredible throws with surgical precision. That self-assurance was immediately apparent, proving he's not just capable of handling the responsibility of being the starting quarterback, he's fully equipped to thrive in that role. Now, with the Cleveland team shifting their focus to their next opponent, the Tennessee Titans, Shedeur is more than enthusiastic to lead the charge. His incredible performance in practice has demonstrated that he can absolutely handle the pressure, and you know that when game time comes, he is going to give it his all. Shedeur Sanders is locked in, focused, and completely prepared to take on the Titans with the full force of his talent and determination. The stage is set, and Shedeur is more than ready to shine once again in his role as the team's quarterback. So, I have to ask, what are your thoughts on all of this? Do you think Shedeur Sanders can carry this incredible performance into the actual game against the Tennessee Titans? How prepared do you believe he is to handle the immense pressure of being the undisputed starting quarterback? Or do you think there's still something else he needs to prove to quiet the doubters? I really want to know what your honest thoughts were on his performance in practice today. Did he go above and beyond what you were anticipating, or did he simply meet the high expectations you already had for him? Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Let's start a conversation about Shedeur's readiness and what you think he's going to bring to the field this week.